Mirjana Gnjatić is the first doula in Serbia. She attended Michel Odent's Paramanadoula seminar in 2010. In 2012, she invited DONA doula trainer to Belgrade, and a DONA doula trainer, and organised the first ever doula training in Serbia, after which the call of the doula spread throughout the region. The following year, the first informal Serbian Doula Association was founded, which now has about 100 doulas from all over Serbia. Mirjana is a massage therapist, prenatal yoga instructor, and mother and baby yoga teacher. She's also, obviously, a visionary. During her first pregnancy in 2006, she recorded the first and only yoga DVD for pregnant women in Serbia and the region. In addition to online education, Mirjana attended conferences or has attended conferences and trainings in Croatia, Slovenia, Austria, Italy, Germany, and London. Her knowledge and understanding of the physiology of childbirth, as well as its spiritual aspects, led her to 3 unassisted homebirths of her own. Her pregnancies and births were safe for a safe exploration of her feminine wisdom, support, and the power of natural childbirth. Mirjana is a proud mum of 3 sons. She is an advocate of natural childbirth and the idea that our entire previous life prepares us for childbirth and motherhood. She believes in the strength and ability of every woman to give birth to her baby in love. Mirjana is currently focused on perinatal massage and individual support. To date, more than 1,000 pregnant people have passed through her classes and offerings. You can connect with Mirjana on Facebook or Instagram via the links in the show notes. I hope you enjoy our conversation. Welcome to the Whole Doula podcast. The Whole Doula podcast is a conversation space for doulas and birth workers to talk about the diverse paths that led them to birth work, as well as the diverse and unique skills, interests and offerings they bring to their birth-keeping roles. Here I dive into conversations with others who may be wondering how to bring the different aspects and experiences of their own lives into their roles as doulas in business. After all, there is more than one way to doula, and I'd love to help others see the connections between all the different parts of themselves, to see themselves as a whole doula. I am your host, Mary Giordano, doula, birth educator, counsellor, and doula business mentor, and this is the Whole Doula podcast. I hope you enjoy listening. So welcome to the Whole Doula podcast, Mirjana. I'm so pleased to have you here chatting with me, and I'm really intrigued and looking forward to hearing what you have to share with myself and the listeners. So Mirjana is joining us from Belgrade in Serbia. And so welcome to the Whole Doula podcast.
Thank you, Mary, for inviting me. And it is my great pleasure to talk with you today.
Amazing. So I'd love to start, Mirjana, by asking you, what was your journey to being a doula or a birth worker? Perhaps if you'd like to share how you like to refer to yourself, you could share, or otherwise maybe just tell us about your journey to where you are and what you're doing. So the journey, sort of what brought you to here.
So I'm coming from Belgrade, Serbia, Balkan region of Europe, and my journey started just before I became pregnant for the first time. It was around 2005 when I got interested into prenatal yoga because pregnant women start showing up on my yoga classes. So I decided to look into it and to learn how to accommodate them in my classes. In that time, especially here in Serbia, we didn't have no social media, no articles related to pregnancy, to birth, nothing like that. So I was finding online articles about prenatal yoga, and that led me to water birth and to natural birth, and the transformation that can happen if women choose natural birth. And for me, it was something so new and so big and so exciting that I start reading about that. And after a few months, I wanted to become pregnant and to experience all of that by myself. And it was actually 2006 when I started preparing myself for the natural birth, and when I was sure that I will work with women and that I will share what I learned and what I experienced. So, yeah, it was back then in 2006 with my first pregnancy.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And so at the time, so you were pregnant at the time.
Before I jumped into what was actually the next step, I would like to share that during my pregnancy, I was, like I said, preparing for natural birth. And I was practicing yoga as a way to prepare myself, like physically, spiritually. And I decided to record a video series for pregnant women. Mm-hmm. So while I was in 8 months of pregnancy, we recorded DVD, prenatal yoga, and that was the first and the only DVD for pregnant women here in Serbia. So
how did you get that DVD to the women in Serbia? That first DVD, how did it reach them?
Yeah, my
social media.
Yes. Yeah, it was interesting journey to record that DVD, and like some other things that I did after. It was just a pure like wish from my heart to share. Mm-hmm. It was not like a project that I put into action with specific steps that I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. So it took us 1 whole year to edit the video with the guy who is doing that, and the baby who was in my belly while I was shooting that. He was growing while we were preparing that DVD. Mm-hmm. And my husband, he made us a first website for our yoga studio. Mm-hmm. So we put the DVD when it was finished as an announcement on our website. And because we were like among first people who had a website and like good looking website in that time, it was attracting women to the classes, and it was attracting women to buy the DVD. Mm-hmm. You know, it was so interesting that
sorry, go on.
Yeah, it was so interesting that not only women from Belgrade, from capital city, wanted to practice yoga in their pregnancy. Women around Serbia, they were ordering DVD and practicing through the whole pregnancy, even after that. And I think that actually that was maybe the only thing that they had as a support through their pregnancy journey in that time.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, was there also some kind of community associated with that class, like an online group or something, or were they just practicing kind of on their own mostly?
No, it was not nothing like online communities. Actually, only online community that exists was forums.
Mm-hmm.
But our studio was working good, and it was interesting for people. It was interesting for reporters to come and share our story. So basically, our yoga studio was some kind of center for community and women and families and people. They were gathering in our yoga studio for years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so is that sort of what naturally evolved into the doulaing, or like how that led to the birth?
Yes. After my first birth, it was a home birth. And back then, we didn't know anything about teachings of Michel Odent.
Mm-hmm.
In 2010, when I was pregnant for the second time,
Mm-hmm.
There were training in Croatia with Michel Odent. First Paramanadoula workshop there. So I went there to his seminar.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 3 days training with a lot of women, and we were sharing our stories and the stories about situations in our hospitals, very bad, even back then. And I was so inspired with his teaching. That was the first time when I actually heard about oxytocin and the power of oxytocin from the scientific level, and the impact of natural, undisturbed birth on the future of humanity. And that was for me that moment when I actually wanted to do again something more. And it was 2012 when I went to Germany to Midwifery Today conference.
Can I just ask you before you go on? Sorry, Mirjana, I'm just interested to know, before you said that the condition, like the situation in the hospitals was bad, but maybe you can just describe what that was. What does that mean where you are in Belgrade? And also you mentioned in your notes, I think, that not many women know about doulas and having birth support in hospital, and that it's actually only possible in 2 hospitals in Belgrade, which is the capital city. So maybe you can just explain as well what that actually means for you to say it's bad there.
Yeah. So I would dare to say that nothing much changed from that 2010 and before. So it was in our hospitals, usually women are alone. Partners are not allowed to attend birth.
Okay.
When a woman enter the hospital, there is a protocols that are like involved. Woman is laying on her back, maybe like semi-sitting position, but usually it is laying on her back. And she's giving birth into that position. But also there is a lot of disrespect among medical staff, a lot of bad words, labels that are put into the woman, and very much bad and traumatic birth stories.
So that's very much the norm. the norm is a traumatic birth story. So partners no partners at all are allowed. So the woman is on her own. Is that what you're saying? So even if she has a partner,
yes.
not a doula, but she's on her own, even without her partner?
Yes, a woman is on her own, even without her partner. In Belgrade, in capital city, we have 2, sometimes, let's say 3 hospitals where partner is allowed, but he has to do medical exams from the nose and throat before being allowed to enter the hospital.
Because of COVID?
Even before COVID. Even before COVID. So yeah, and those medical tests are, I think, valid 3 or 5 days, something like that. And so only in 3 public hospitals, partner is allowed to attend the birth. In the rest of the country, we maybe in some hospital, but usually no, woman is alone. So before that, 2012, when I organized the first doula training, there was no mention about someone else accompanying a laboring woman.
There was no mention of it by the trainer, do you mean, or by anyone?
No, by anyone. We had childbirth education classes as a part of the hospital. But on those classes, women are usually taught what they can expect in hospital and how to behave in hospital. You know,
what to do.
What to do. They learn how to breathe, and that is actually the main thing that women expect to learn how to breathe, and hoping that will prepare them for birth.
Okay. So that's kind of the context of it's bad hospital, or bad that it's bad there. So then, thank you for providing that context, because you were going on to then share about the next training, or the midwifery conference, was it? You were about to share about, or?
Yes, after the Michel Odent. His training 2 years after I went to Germany to Midwifery Today conference, and that was such a great experience to see all those names in birth world, and to listen to them, and being part of their workshops and trainings. And there I met Reka Deji, DONA doula trainer from Hungary, and we liked each other, and I actually invited her to come to Serbia and to teach first doula training in my studio, and that was the moment, actually.
That was
that conference. Yeah.
When you say the moment, what do you mean by the moment?
Yeah. So it was nothing again that I planned to do. It was a moment when I was surrounded with so many positive birth stories, different experiences around the world, around Europe. We had a training with Debra Pascali Bonaro, and she had a meeting with doulas, and in that surrounding, I realized that we don't have nothing like this in our country. And that I'm sitting beside that trainer, and that, like, I can invite her. It was so easy. Like, I can invite her, and we can have a doula training, and
so
like, let's do that.
10 years ago, yeah? This was 10 years ago.
It was 2012. It was even more than 10 years. Yeah.
So how did that training go? How many people turned up, and what happened over the next 10 years with the training of doulas in Serbia, and how many doulas are there now, and what does that landscape look like now?
Yeah. So the good thing was that, as I said, we had our yoga studio, and we were some kind of center for different activities for women, for families. So a lot of people fluctuated around our yoga studio, and when I announce it, when I share, it was, I don't know, like back then it seemed so easy to organize that. It was, I'm not sure, 12 or 15 women who participated in the training. It was not all of them from like our studio and our classes. I gave a few interviews for the newspapers because reporters were interested. It was something new, and they need a story. So that's a great turnout. Did you say 12 people? That's a great turnout for something that's completely unknown. Yes, and without so that is the time without social media, nothing like that. So it is like
that was
word
just
of
within
mouth.
that community, within that class, the community that you had created over those years, basically.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. That's really speaks to the power of community, doesn't it?
Yeah, the power of community, and for me, it is always like reporters from the media who was interested to share. And we really had one great article about doulas after that training. And that was the article that continued to bring new women to the workshops for years.
So when you say an article, where was that published?
It was published in the newspaper.
Okay.
It was a magazine for like a happier life. They were sharing about spirituality, personal development, those kind of articles was in that magazine. It was really very popular magazine in the community who is interested to work on themselves and to learn something new. So
the information was in there regularly, and they saw it. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Hi everyone, Mary here, just interrupting the conversation for a moment to tell you about my free business masterclass for doulas, The Empowered Doula, where I will share my 3 secrets to mastering your income, marketing and mindset. Here is what you'll learn. The doula portfolio, or how to craft multiple income streams with purpose to avoid boredom and burnout. From birth to business, how to use values-driven marketing to align with your service as a values-driven doula. And doulapreneurship, how to foster a healthy and positive money mindset to guide you from passion to profit. You can register your spot to watch this masterclass today via the link in the show notes, and we will return to the conversation. Amazing.
Yeah.
So who was at which trainers did you had the one trainer? It was this person from Hungary. Yeah. So you had about 12 attendees. Are they now working as doulas, those 12 people, or how many, any of them working as doulas?
I'm actually not sure how many of them are working now from that first training. From the second one, we had doulas that are working. Mm-hmm. But the interesting thing happened. It was a woman from Croatia who attended that first workshop. And when the training was over, she went back to her hometown and start talking with the hospital there, and with the support and the mentoring of the trainer, she entered the hospital and actually established Croatian Doula Association.
Okay, wow. So the flow-on effect.
Yeah. And they are still very active. They have like different, let's say different mentality. It seems like more options, but they're working very good, and they have a lot of doulas who can more easily enter the hospitals than we here in Belgrade.
So how many of you would be there now in Belgrade working as doulas?
Honestly, I don't know. We had more than 100 women attending these workshops during the years. And last few trainings my colleague organized. And I would say maybe 15, but maybe there is more who I don't see so often on Instagram, so I don't actually know if they are working and how they are working, because a lot of doulas, even if they are not entering the hospital, they're supporting mothers during the pregnancy and providing childbirth education. And the good thing is actually that we have now doulas, let's say, all around the Serbia. It is not local only in Belgrade, so around Serbia and the biggest cities in Serbia, we have doulas.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. So, would most of the doulas in Serbia have been trained through this partnership? There's no one else doing doula training. Is there anyone else doing doula training in Serbia? I imagine not.
Yeah. So let's say, actually, most of the doulas are trained by this trainer from Hungary, because it was the only doula training. But we also now have one doula that attended training in Russia. We have now maybe few Russian-speaking doulas coming from Russia here. Few women that were living abroad and now are back here. So it is not just the DONA doula training.
And is there any association amongst you as different doulas? Do you talk to each other? Do you have a group now that you do have social media, or that you I imagine some of you are on social media? Is there a group that do you support each other?
Yes, of course. After that first training, women want to stay together and to work together. So after the next year training, we decided to have organization. It is still not registered officially, but here you can have association even if it is not like official by papers, and that is the Serbian Doula Association, Doula Serbia, and we were providing different workshops, celebrating World Doula Week, having different movies, projections. We were organizing like tea with doulas, meeting with doulas. So we had also a training like human rights in childbirth.
So that was done locally, or did someone local do that?
That training actually did the Croatian doula.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. We invited them to have a training here because they are very active with that training around Croatia, and very popular and free training.
Okay, I'd love to actually hear more about them and maybe be put in touch to look them up as well, to invite them to speak with me on the podcast, because it sounds interesting. So maybe you can just can you tell us the name again? Who was it?
Yes, I can. I can send you all the details. I can send you the contact from Anita Budak. She is the representative of Croatian Doula Association, and she's actually very, very active in European Doula Network.
That was going to be my next question, actually. I was going to ask if there's any network in Europe. I am familiar with the European Doula Network. Is that quite active? I am actually a member of that, but I'm just sort of, I don't see a lot of activity on there. Is that right? Is there not? Yeah,
for some time, I was not interested in that. Like I had enough things going on with my life, with work and everything. But now I'm looking more into that, and I think that actually when Anita joined European Doula Network, I don't know when that happened, but she's very dedicated, and she's I can't say activist, but she is very determined in her work, and I think that she is the one who is doing and pushing things for European Doula Network to be organized. And I know that there will be a meeting in France. I think it is in October for European doulas.
Okay, interesting. Okay, that's interesting. I'll look into those things. So, you said about 100 people had been through the training in these years, and as far as you know, there are about 15 or so working as doulas, and only 2 hospitals allow a support person. So, as you said, some people support just prior to birth with, as you said, the pregnancy support and all of the other support that you talked about. Are people also birthing at home, and if so, are doulas supporting them there? Or is home birth not happening?
Yeah.
How common is it? Or uncommon?
Yeah, we had a very interesting journey with home birth and how that developed. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is not 15 doulas. Maybe it is 20. Maybe even 25. Yeah, maybe. Probably, yeah, let's say 20. It is very interesting journey with home birth. And especially after, or during the COVID, home birth become, I can't say popular, but more women decided to choose home birth. And doulas are actually supporting them in that choice. And we had one midwife, home birth midwife, but in last few years we have two more. So we have three home birth midwives.
Yeah.
Yes.
3, did you say?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm curious to know also what the relationship is like between yourself as a doula and the other doulas that you're aware of with the midwives that you work with, whether in hospital or at home. What do you find generally that the midwives are like to work with in hospital, for example? Are they generally receptive? Are they generally cooperative? Are they not?
Because of my personal experience of having 3 home births, I was usually attracted to home births, and usually women who wanted home birth, they were choosing me as a doula. So I have more experience attending births at home than in hospital. But from the sharings of other doulas, there are hospital which staff and midwives are receptive for doulas, because now we are not so unknown, and thanks to social media and activities, the medical, not all, but medical staff knows about doulas. Still, we have a lot of work to do.
Also the doctors, of course. Yes, that's the next, or the combined question. So, they are their receptivity varies. Is that what you're saying? Sometimes they're more receptive than others.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I guess that's not surprising. It's the same everywhere. I guess it's the same here. Yeah, that's interesting. So, I'm curious to know. There's lots of things I'd like to ask. I'd like to ask what you were doing before you were doing the prenatal yoga. I'd like to know what you'd like to be doing after now. Is there anything that you'd like to share about your journey to becoming a doula prior to being the yoga instructor that was also sort of helped to orchestrate the move towards you becoming a doula, or that you've integrated into your work as a doula?
I didn't understand the question.
Okay, sorry.
Well.
Yes, yeah, it was a bit convoluted, actually. I'll try that again. So I'm just curious. So before you were doing the work as a doula, you were teaching the yoga classes, yeah? And prior to that, was there anything else that you were doing that you've also sort of continued in some way to, weave into your work, or continue to build into what your business is and what your work is?
Yes. So before I discovered yoga and started teaching yoga, I was in massage therapy. And massage was like something that I fell in love. And I was doing that for a few years before I start teaching yoga. And then when I start teaching prenatal yoga, I start implementing prenatal massage. And actually that massage practice and prenatal massage is something that is waving in between all these years. And right now I'm in the moment where I feel more into doing prenatal massage, because now we have prenatal yoga classes. You can find childbirth education classes. You can find doulas. But young women are different than 15 years ago. They're more into self-care now, into that practices. They're more into massage. And when they become pregnant, they are facing usually rejection for being massaged.
Oh, that sounds interesting. Tell us about that.
Yes.
What do you mean? Sorry,
yeah.
Facing rejection for being... Sorry, hang on.
No, it is like you're talking with someone who is like something that happened like a long time ago, like really the beginning of something in one country. So it is totally, that's why maybe I need so much time to share. I can't, answer you.
So the rejection because it's not familiar, do you mean?
Yes. Massage therapists are not familiar with working with pregnant women, or they are afraid to do it, or they are taught just to do very gentle massage. So women who like just a little bit stronger massage, they now don't feel comfortable with very light massage, and
I wouldn't. Someone really irritate me.
If someone is fearful, he's massaging you or she's massaging you, but she's fearful about that. So it is like when I started teaching yoga, prenatal yoga, it was totally new, and doctors were very, what is the word, when they don't recommend, when they are in doubt if it is going to be good for them.
They weren't encouraging of something.
Yeah, so they were a little bit
hesitant.
They were not hesitating. Yeah. So it was like when we start with prenatal yoga, doctors were hesitating about prenatal yoga and the benefits of that. Now, let's say 15 years later, you can see recommendations for prenatal yoga, for physical activity. Doctors are recommending it. But for massage, now it is the same for prenatal massage. There are only few doctors who will allow it, who will say, yes, it is good for you. So for me, it is actually interesting and challenging to bring that prenatal massage now into the light.
Because you're pioneering this this total evolution of the birth at a sort of ecosystem in Serbia, one at a time, and that's huge. That's really interesting. I did a training in pregnancy massage a couple of years ago here in Australia. It was online during COVID, and I didn't really love the training, to be honest, but mainly because for me personally, it was very prescriptive in terms of what strokes to do exactly when and in which order and so forth. And I just can't really massage that way. I do it much more intuitively. So I kind of, tried to keep the core, like the important fundamental parts, the direction in which you move towards or away from the heart, for example. But just massage much more intuitively. But interesting to hear. So when you say that you're thinking about bringing the pregnancy massage to light? What does that look like? What's the next step? You're obviously pioneering this now after you've now had the doulas, 100 doulas come through. It's really interesting. So what can Serbia look forward to from doulas in the future, and how will massage be a part of that?
Yes. I see how my work as a doula and my knowledge that I have and my personal experiences, how I blend it in conversation with a woman who come to massage, and how that doula understanding and knowledge really support them during the massage and after the massage. So my wish and my plans are to actually at one moment have a training in prenatal massage to other massage therapists who are working with or who will work with pregnant women in different settings. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking toward that.
Yeah, wow, amazing. Oh, it's very inspiring. Listen to all of this, all of these things. I love it because it's not there, so you're just creating it, and I love that because I just like that innovation. It has to, if we sit, it's like our community as mothers. If we sit and wait for our community to fall in our lap, it's not going to fall in our lap. We have to go and find it and build it and put in the hard yards and build our community or our village. And yeah, so of course it's the same with business. It's really interesting to hear this vision, and I'm interested to know as well. So not so many women know about doula support even being available. Social media is available now, though, of course. And do you find, for example, when you look at your analytics on Instagram, how many of the people following you are in Serbia, and how much are people, maybe learning about doulas through social media, or perhaps what does that look like?
I must say that I'm not as much active on Instagram as maybe I should be. Mm-hmm. But that is probably I'm older than new doulas who are more into social media, more into sharing. And especially that workshop and training that we had after the COVID, it was online. And doulas that were coming to that workshop, social media and Instagram is their medium. Mm-hmm. So I think that a lot of women are actually learning about doulas from social media now. Mm-hmm. And we have a few doulas that has really big following on Instagram, even on TikTok.
Okay, I don't use TikTok. That's one social media platform is enough for me. But I'm interested again. Sorry, tell me again, this person, who is it? This person who is from where?
Which person?
The one who's...
Anita?
No, you said someone who's very active on Instagram, a Serbian, I think it was a Serbian doula, and also active on TikTok.
Yeah, we have we have a few doulas that are very active on Instagram, and we have and not just very active. It is not a point to be like very active. The thing is that they actually has a very big audience and a very big following, and we have one doula that is very active on TikTok, and she has. I'm not following her on TikTok, but I think that she has around 60,000 on Instagram. Yeah.
Wow. And so how?
Yes.
Is she a new? So she's not a new doula. Is she a new doula? She's an established doula, obviously. That's a big following.
Yes.
But do you know what? It doesn't, like, what does that matter? It's a number. That's not important. And that's not important. What's interesting, I suppose, is what's on that account, and what are, people there, they must be enjoying what they're getting, what they're seeing. So it's great.
Yes, for me it is interesting to see how we are expressing ourselves and promoting and sharing our knowledge. It is not same. Like I know that for me that yoga studio, that in-person workshops, for me that was the medium. And even without this big following, I have enough clients, enough women to work with.
There's only so many you can have before you're going into burnout territory. So, like, it's,
Yeah, I went through, doing a lot of support. It is not only birth support, but it is like through whole pregnancy, teaching those classes and being in group setting for years. And in the same time, birthing your own babies and raising your own children. I think that actually that doula work, it is coming in waves.
Interesting, coming in waves. Wow. That's interesting to hear. I feel like we could just keep talking because I'd like to ask you lots more questions, but I'm mindful of the time, and I try to keep the episodes from getting too long. Is there anything else that you'd like to share, though, Mirjana, or anything that you'd like to ask?
I would like to share that I decided, actually, it is not that I decided. So I would like to share that for some time I was feeling the call to organize the workshop again, to have a training again. And this time I'm inviting a different teacher, and we will have again DONA doula workshop in Serbia, but with a different trainer.
I have my windows open because it's a warm evening and there's a dog barking outside and trucks going past. I'm sorry about the noise. I'm sorry. So you're saying you're going to have another person coming, another DONA trainer?
Yes. I decided to organize the workshop again, and I remembered the meeting that I had with this trainer few years ago, and I decided to invite her and to have training that she's going to teach. And I'm interested to see the quality and the difference this trainer and this energy is going to invite in the circle.
That will be very interesting, yeah, to see who turns up, who shows up, who is open to learning, or reintroducing themselves to new, as you said, energy or new ways of doing and being. That will be interesting. So what's the timeline like for that?
We are hoping to have a training in June, and 5 online workshops that will be before and after this in-person training, and eventually to have a training in October or November. So we're going to see how it is going to work now. because me personally are different. I'm different now, and my surrounding is different, and I don't have that big community of women around me right now like I had 10, 12 years ago. So it is interesting, and it is like when you somehow doing something again, but you have experience, and you can look from this time perspective, and now what would you do different? How will you behave after this training? What are you going to provide after this training? So somehow it seems like the second opportunity to do something better than
another rebirth.
The first time. Yeah.
That sounds like, although I'd like to, do you know what, I'd like to keep asking questions, but I feel like that sounds like a beautiful note to end on, because it's a rebirth of maybe many to come. I don't know. It sounds like maybe there's lots of things in the future for you, because it seems like there's lots of sort of pots on the stove already, or pots on the fire. What's the expression? What's the equivalent expression in Serbia? Do you know what I mean when I say lots of pots on the stove, or lots of iron?
I think that, yeah, I can like understand you like intuitively, and that is actually something that when I saw your questions, you asked me like, what is your like goal for the future? And I actually don't plan in advance all of these things. It is more like listening, even without like listening with intention. It is like sensing the energy, and then just recognizing the voice, and something that starts to boil, and to something that wants to show up. So yeah, there is different pots on the stove, and we will see what will come from that. But only the good things can come, and I think that all that I share is actually like a real example that the change that all of us want to see in birthing room and in birthing world, it is really coming from a woman and from activities that women or women are doing. Really, everything that we did, like personally, and as a group, as an organization, it was never, like we never had plans for years to come. It was always, let's do this and let's bring this to the world.
And then
sorry?
And then see? Or
Yeah, we don't even expect to see. It is like really like you birth a baby, and then it goes out to the world. And
then whatever happens next.
Of course, and then like surrounding is affecting, and then you see their interest in your child into something, and then you accommodate your activities toward that. So it is something like that here. There is it is not a project. We never had a project. Let's have a new profession in our country. And then like we have to do this, and this. It is always, I think, maybe it is more that feminine way of doing the things, bringing the change, and maybe even doing the business.
I was going to say that's how I feel. Well, I'm currently launching my intuitive doula program for this year. So that's something that I've been thinking about a lot because I've been writing about it a lot. And that's how I work. And it's hard to describe sometimes because it is intuitive. And so there's no plan and there's no kind of guideline really. And I was just thinking a moment ago when you mentioned the question about the future, and I thought, oh gosh, I haven't actually looked at the questions. And I feel like we're just getting started. But yeah, that's how I work as well. So it's hard to imagine a different way for me, but not everybody has that. I don't know. It's not, some people don't feel safe feeling into their intuition even. But I don't know. I think it's like sometimes the new mums say to me, or I've had new mums say to me, how do you know? How do you know what feels like? How do you know what feels right to share, or how do you know feels? And it's hard to describe. But I also say, it is hard to describe, but that's because it's a journey, and you can't get from one spot to the other without going on the journey. And everyone's journey is different, so you can't really describe it.
Yeah. And what you shared is actually, I don't know, I don't remember how I discovered you, but I know that I was drawn, especially because you're talking about intuition, and because you had that training, intuitive doula. I remember when I was asking a question in that Midwifery Today conference, I was asking a question, how much in birth those midwives are relying on their intuition, how much they operate with that.
So the question is, how much are they relying on their intuition, the midwives?
Yeah.
Which midwives do you mean? Do you mean midwives in any setting, or?
No, the particular midwife on that conference.
Oh, okay, right, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wanted to know if we can do that. I asked her. And actually, I didn't get the confirmation in that moment for that. And for me, it was like, wow, is it really the right answer? If someone is so experienced in birth and she's not answering me, like she's not confirming me that I can rely on my intuition and be guided with my intuition in that particular situation and around that woman, I didn't accept that as answer to my question. And that's why I'm interested in what you are sharing. How you are working with intuition, and what does it mean, because it is so subtle. It is so, I think that it is like tapestry of everything, of emotions, of actions, of way of living and interacting.
Oh my gosh, that's such a beautiful way to describe it. I'm going to listen to the recording of this and write that down. I love that. It is, and it's interesting because I don't really give it that much thought. I just do it. And like the more I do it, the less I plan it, and it just happens and it just unfolds. And I was just reflecting today when I was recording, and I'm mindful that we've gone way over time, so I'm just going to share this little snippet and we'll have to wind up. But I was recording some things on my Instagram stories today of my fabric. I have a fabric collection, and I was showing it. And I pulled all the fabric out of my box because I did a poll in my stories recently, and most of the people who answered wanted to see my fabric collection. Anyway, I make a lot of things. And when I was pulling it out, I found some things that I hadn't worked on, that I hadn't looked at for a while, that I worked on years and years ago, and found some other things and half started and finished projects. And something's just happened to the sound. I'm not right sure what that was. Sorry. And some half finished projects and stuff like that. And then I thought to myself, and I looked at some other projects and I thought I could make these and sell them, and I'm able, and this can be part of my business. And so it's all of the different parts actually of me and who I am and what I enjoy doing that I want to do more of. And so I'm trying to find ways, like this year, for example, in the Intuitive Doula, I'm asking for people to do some kind of creative craft, something that will just kind of keep them accountable for working on something which will hopefully correlate with them working on themselves. And part of that is to keep me accountable to work on my own crafts this year as well. And that's my life being one with my work and trusting, so this is coming through now. And so maybe that's because I need to spend more time doing things now. So it's just, it's funny. I was just thinking about that. I'm going to thank you so much for your time, Mirjana. I really appreciate it. I really enjoyed speaking with you. Is there anything, final thing that you'd like to share before we finish up the conversation?
Thank you for having me, and thank you for this loving and supportive and welcoming talk, and really listening.
I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Mirjana today. I was really fascinated by the story that she shared about her journey from being a masseuse to then becoming a yoga teacher and a doula and doula trainer, and pioneer really in the birth space in Serbia and Europe. So it was a really interesting conversation. We went way over time. If you'd like to hear more about Mirjana and get in touch with her, you can find out more in the show notes. And please get in touch and follow her really interesting work. I hope you enjoyed listening to the Whole Doula podcast, and I'll be back with another episode in 2 weeks. Have a great day.